Hello, Jerry here with Season 4, Episode 34 of Ask Jerry Tachoir. If you want to ask me a question, please go to my website, which is www.tachoir.com. And in the upper right-hand corner is a little tab that you click on for contacts. Click on that, enter your information, and you ask your question, and perhaps we'll do one of these videos. First of all, I want to apologize. It's been quite a while since I've done my last video. I've been very busy. My touring schedule has been very seriously heavy, and then the holidays happened, and then after that I got involved with a couple major recording sessions, which took me away from being able to do this. But I'm back, and hopefully this will answer a lot of questions. Today's question is one that has come to me many times in the last couple weeks, and basically the same question, so I just picked one of them. This question comes from Robert in Quebec. Hi, Jerry. Hope you are well. I first saw you and your band at the Montreal Jazz Festival many years ago. I was very impressed, and I believe I have all of your recordings. I've noticed that most four-mallet contemporary players don't use the vibrato, whereas the two-mallet bebop players do. Can you explain your case of not using this effect? Thanks in advance. Looking forward to your reply. Best, Robert in Quebec. Yes, Robert, and those who have asked this very similar question. So the effect, well, first of all, let's clarify, and I had to actually go look it up, make sure I was accurate, but a vibrato means, and it primarily applies to well, let's give an example, guitars and violin players. If you ever notice a violin player, when they play a note, and then they'll basically move the note sharp and flat to create that vibrato effect. And guitar players, the same thing. So a vibrato is actually raising and lowering the pitch of the note to create the effect. Whereas on the other hand, tremolo is taking the pitch and raising the volume up and down. So it's just a volume, but the pitch stays the same. Now on the vibes, most contemporary vibes, they're somewhat all built the same except for one company, but they all have the resonators. And the purpose of the resonators is to take the sound of the bars, and it basically amplifies it. It goes into the resonator, which is tuned, by the way. It's tuned to the same frequency as the bar. So anyway, the vibrating bar goes into the resonator, and it just creates a bigger, warmer sound. Now, to create the effect that we're talking about, they put this railing over the top of the resonators, and it has a little round disc which is spinning. And by spinning, it's opening and closing the opening of the resonator. Again, the resonators are capped at the bottom, so there's no sound that goes all the way through. It's coming up. So when you turn on the motor and the resonator, the pulsator shafts start to spin, basically, like I said, they're opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. And when they close, the bar gets softer in sound. When they open, the bar then breathes and gets louder in sound, so that is a tremolo effect. Now, on the vibes, or actually any instrument that has resonators, specifically the vibes because we're talking about this pulsator shaft, when it's turning in a certain angle, it's actually making the resonator appear to be a little bit longer just because of the physics of the actual flap that's turning. So by doing that and then going all the way around and closing again, then it's making the resonator shallower. So actually there is a very, very, very slight difference in the pitch, very slight because of that effect. It's almost noticeable. So it is actually called a tremolo. Now with that being said, I found personally that as a contemporary player, I actually get bored with the sound of the tremolo continuously going. In other words, when you play a tempo of a tune, you have to kind of lock in your tempo, and you have to turn your motor on, and you have to find a complementary tempo of the pulsator effect, the tremolo, to get it to match the tune. And if not, it just kind of sounds funny because it occurs at weird times, and it sort of sets up a pulse, which is a false sense of rhythmic intensity. So anyway, I find that it just gets boring to have that wow, 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 continuously. Now, I always thought it would be really cool if there was a way we could take a wire and hook it to our earlobe, and it would sense how we're playing. If we're playing fast, it would speed up with us. If we're playing slower, it would like get slower and kind of more mellow. Now, the effect is somewhat cool. When you're playing solo, sometimes put a nice slow tremolo on and play nice ballads and stuff is a very desirable effect. And I will use it occasionally for things like that. When I play with other instruments, especially my wife, piano player, she has perfect pitch, and she finds the pulsating of the notes to be somewhat, I don't know, it takes away from her performance, both in the rhythmical aspect and also the slight variance in the tuning of the bar. So she really doesn't like it that much. If I'm playing a nostalgia piece, something like maybe the Modern Jazz Quartet, where that sound of Milt Jackson's tremolo is just prominent and something that's expected, then yeah, I will turn it on and use it. If somebody demands it, if I'm doing a recording session, they say, I really want that sound, then I'll turn it on. So I use it occasionally. With most of my recordings, with most of my band performances, I won't use it because, again, it does get in the way of the rhythm. It does get in the way of just the clarity of what's going on. So I stay away from it. Now, the bebop players, most of them two mallet players, so they're playing very linearly, okay? And by doing that, they're playing basically is like a saxophone player. They're playing melodies. They're just playing single note lines predominantly. And so then they're looking for that vibrato or tremolo, whichever you want to call it, to give it a little bit more character in the tone. And again, it is more of a historic development that exists when people use it that way. Because in a lot of the older recordings and the older tunes that people play on vibes always had that tremolo effect going. So, I mean, it could be nice if used properly. It could be nice if you can find the right speed that works with the tempo of the tune that you're playing so that it doesn't interfere with the tempo. Now, the tendency of bands, as they get more excited, they tend to push a little bit. Not necessarily rush, but just get on the upper edge. So, unfortunately, once you lock in a tempo on the tremolo, it stays there. So if the band should get a little bit more edgy and be pushing, then you have to reach over and kind of adjust it a little bit faster to keep up with the tempo again. So that's the reason that I don't use it, and I find it just to be hard to maintain a really good tempo that matches the tempo of a tune consistently. But again, like I said, I will use it occasionally for special effects, for nostalgia pieces. But what I will do a lot of times is I'll manually just reach over and I'll play something. Just to kind of give you a special thing that I want to do. Maybe I'll play a nice arpeggiated chord at the end of a tune, and then I'll just give it that little tremolo. But I'll manually do it, and it won't be a wah, 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 wah. It'll be something that I'm controlling with a rhythm or a specific pulse. So, Robert, I hope that answered your question. Please, I ask everybody if you could subscribe to this channel, because that tends to help out a lot. And again, ask me your questions. I'm looking forward to doing some more of these. I do have some time in the next month, so hopefully I can knock out a few of these and answer the questions that I've been getting. Look forward to it, and thanks again. Keep vibing. Take care. Bye-bye.